Well, you know, several years ago, it seemed like everybody had fruit trees in their backyard. And then there was a period where people kind of stopped planting them, and now people are wanting to grow their own food and have things that are readily available to their, you know, in their backyard so they can grow their own food. Probably the easiest, the most adapted to Oklahoma would be things like apples and pears. And some of those are going to be more adapted than others. So you have to really look at the varieties, and if they're disease resistant, you know, it'll be a benefit not having to spray for as many diseases. But usually apples and pears are more adapted to our clay soils. And then if you're looking at things like peaches and some of the prunus type of fruit trees like peaches and plums, nectarines, apricots, those like to have more sandy soil. And so you really need to pay attention to where you're planting them. Even just in your yard, you can plant one in one location and it'll do great, and then just a few feet in another direction and it may be too wet, and so that tree will lose its leaves and die. And we saw a lot of that this past year with as much wet you know, all the weather that we had. If you have a population of deer around your area, so you see deer in your lawn or in your pasture area where you're wanting to plant these trees, you need to have some plan in place, because once those trees start to grow and they push out new foliage, that is like candy to deer, and they will eat that foliage just as soon as it puts out new leaves. And so you may have to look at a hot wire fence, and it's not just one wire around. You're going to have maybe every foot have a hot wire up several, you know, maybe 7 or 8 feet sometimes to keep them out of there. And deer love apple trees, not just the fruit, but they actually eat the wood. And so I've seen a fairly large tree eaten down to just to be a little toothpick, basically, because it was a variety that they really liked. We have to deal with birds, especially for grapes. We're going to have big issues with birds, but also, you know, with our fruit trees. Some other things that like fruits would be kind of bats or possums, raccoons, anything. It seems like everything likes. Squirrels are a big issue with fruits as well. Having some type of scare tactic out there, something that's flashy or something, may scare away some type of pest. But sometimes we may have to harvest just a few days early than we want to, because those animals, they know when that fruit's ripe, and they'll start harvesting before you get it. We have a backyard fruit tree workshop, so it's going to be specifically for new growers or for homeowners that want to learn about how to select what kind of fruit tree is going to do best in their location, or what varieties are going to be best. And so people will have opportunity to come out and plant a tree if they'd like. And we have a few apple trees, pear trees, and peaches where they can practice pruning. The field day is on February 15th, so it's a Saturday from 1 to 4, and it's going to be at the Cimarron Valley Research Station just north of Perkins. For more information about the field day, you can go to sunup.okstate.edu.